Evening folks, this is Best in Slot, and for the very first time since its release, we're going to do a Planet Zoo news post because there's lots and lots of exciting new stuff to talk about. The first, before we get into the bigger things, is this adorable little screenshot we got a little earlier today. As part of an upcoming patch on the 17th of December, a Christmas themed patch that we know all about. I'm going to give you all those details in just a moment. One of the new items coming along is this gift. It's very similar to the current cardboard box we have, but just a little bit more Christmassy, which is pretty cool, and this is the most painfully adorable thing I've ever seen. Now, I was actually going to just do a video talking about the patch notes, because there's some amazing stuff coming for free to everyone who owns the game. But, and we're going to wrap back around to this later, get it, wrap, because it's Christmas. Other than the free patch notes, it does sound like we're going to get something else as well. They kind of hinted that at the end of the patch notes, and then just 20 or so minutes ago from the time I record this, the Planet Zoo Twitter tweeted out a new image. This one right here. Now, for those who aren't sure, if we bring up a second image, you'll see that that is indeed the horns of a reindeer, or a caribou if you're that way inclined. Personally, I'm a reindeer kind of guy, what can I say? Either way, super exciting. It seems reindeer are going to be added to the game. If I had to guess, we're getting this big free patch. We're going to discuss all the details of that in a moment, but I think we'll get a paid Tundra Christmas animal sort of DLC along with it. It's worth mentioning that even earlier on today, people reported that certain sound files were being moved around in Planet Zoo, and those sound files suggested that the animals we're going to get are a polar bear, a arctic fox, and a penguin. There might have been another one, but those are the three that are sticking out to me right now. So I'm expecting a pack of, say, 4 to 5 animals to come out as a little paid booster along with the patch. One of them being the reindeer. We're going to be able to make these amazing tundra exhibits. And of course the addition, if it is true, of things like penguins and polar bears will be absolutely huge for the game. I'm just really excited about this in general. I think DLC is really important for a game like Planet Zoo, and the quality of the first DLC is going to set the tone for everything we expect going forward. So, big, exciting stuff. We're going to take a little look at the patch notes. I say a little look, they're actually fairly huge. We know a lot of information, but there's some great stuff coming, so let's check it out. The first thing is a slowing down of the animal aging. Now, I'm going to link these posts. Someone out there is fuming. I'm going to link these posts down below. I'll link the forum page, so if you want to go and read this in your own time, you can do so. For these longer ones, I'm basically going to sum things up. But essentially what they're doing is adding an animal lifespan or animal aging kind of toggle to the game. It's going to be a slider value that you can control, and you can make your animals age up to 5 times slower. Now, this doesn't slow the game down. Your game will progress at the normal speed, but your animal's individual lifespans will then not correlate with the game speed. So if you are in your game for 10 years, your animal will only age 2 years. It's not realistic, but I think it was the only way they could kind of, like, the animal aging was like the big problem people have had with the game really at this point in time, I would say, and this was probably the best way to fix it without screwing up a lot of other things in the meantime. So now it's completely up to you. If you want your animal aging to match with the existing in-game time, you can do that. If you want them to age 5 times slower, you can do that instead. It is worth noting that things like the gestation period, you know, how long your animals are pregnant, will also slow down at the same rate. So you can do this 5 times slower, but then if you're trying to like age up your crocodiles or something like that, you'll be waiting a very long time. Still, this is a really cool way to let us get more attached to our animals, and this is probably the big news for the patch. This is, for me at least, the most exciting thing. Moving on. Oh, I should mention, this will be available in every single mode, basically. So even in your challenge modes, in your career modes, blah blah, you'll be able to do this. Cool stuff. Moving on, next up we have immediate family on animal information panels. Now, this was something we were meant to get. It's taken just a little bit of time to come in properly, but this is basically the genetics tab, basically the family tree tab. So you click on the little tab, the social tab, and you'll be able to learn the animal's parents, who their siblings are, and who their direct descendants are. Given that the whole incest thing is so important in this game, I think this was like a pretty, you know, necessary feature. And it even says on the page, this should help prevent inbreeding in zoos, look at that wavy ass line, and keep your animals healthy. It's a lot easier now to check who's mated with who, and therefore you can know how to split your animals up. This is just going to make things a little bit easier. Again, a really cool big change. Something we should have had from the start. It was advertised from the start, but you know, it's not been that long since release, and we got there eventually. That's what matters. Moving on, we'll just start reading these out because they're a little bit shorter than the first one. We have introduced pack structures specific to canines, so timber wolves and African wild dogs. Alphas are stable within a pack structure, and members won't normally fight unless overcrowded. All juveniles will be added to the pack structures, all pack members listed in an animal UI. So this is really cool as well, particularly for the timber wolves. At release, the timber wolves could only live in groups of 2, and it didn't really make any sense whatsoever. Now, not only has their social been expanded to 8 or 10 or something like that, but now they're going to have proper pack behaviour. An alpha wolf is going to be chosen, and unlike in other animals where they'll keep fighting for alphadom and that'll kind of swap, the alpha will be sustained. It's going to be a stable alpha that dominates and leads this pack. That's going to be pretty cool to observe, and perfect in time for this wintry tundra kind of pack we're going to be getting on the 17th. There are some new heat maps, including crime locations, staff happiness, animal breeding, habitat cleanliness, and updates to negative impacts such as where people are littering more so and throwing food. Those last ones seem the most important to me personally. Knowing where people are littering the most is going to let you sort of control where you want to put your cleaners, where you want to add more bins and stuff like that. So that's going to definitely be a helpful quality of life change. We also have improved social behaviours for the ring-tailed lemurs and the red-ruffed lemurs, meaning that they're going to interact with each other, adult to adult and adult to juvenile. We don't know what these are going to be. It does seem that they require a little bit of space based on the wording here. But as long as they're happy and they've got a bit of room, we're going to get some new lemur-to-lemur interactions. We'll have to check out exactly what they involve when the patch releases on the 17th of December. A news feed is being added to the Planet Zoo homepage, as in when you log on to the game and you've got your world map there and all that kind of jazz, you're going to log on and you'll find some news. And that's mainly going to be things I imagine like with franchise mode, telling you that the servers are going to be down or that the servers are currently down. I know this has actually been quite a big complaint lately. Franchise mode goes down, loads of people can't play for say an hour or two, and they start to panic or worry or get angry or whatever. And the problem is Planet Zoo was only communicating that via their Twitter, and the fact is the majority of the game base do not go on their Twitter, don't check Twitter, probably don't follow Planet Zoo on Twitter. So having a way to communicate with players when they first log into the game is super helpful and will hopefully ease those communication problems a little bit more. We've added new alerts to the game which will help point out any issues with the setup of your zoo, something we hope will help you better identify what's happening with your parks. A new high alert will notify players when something that will have a tremendously negative effect on your zoo is happening, such as if an animal escapes or if all keeper huts are closed. This high alert will pop up in the centre of your screen but can be switched off in the options. All alerts can now be switched off on a per category basis. They've been grouped in the options menu. That is a huge deal. I would love to turn off the alert about animals breaking out. I know they've made it more important if anything else, but I've got a few exhibits where it tells you animals are breaking out even if they're technically not breaking out, so being able to turn that off that would be great. A new crime management page has been added as well, which is interesting. It's going to display and actually tell us where our vandalised items are, which is something that's always been weird to me, that like all these screens are getting damaged but there's actually never been a way to find them. The crime in the game has never felt that important to me, so I'm glad it's getting a little bit more love and attention in this patch. Refunds have now been modified and now have a breakdown of costs in the Zoo Finance screen. People I've been having some big problems with refunds. If a guest has spent less than half of their allotted time in the zoo before going home, due to low happiness, they will receive a refund. If an animal escapes and the guest flees, they will receive a refund that's proportional to the time they spent in the zoo. It's like you nearly got eaten by a bear, here's a £5. Innocent guests ejected from the park receive a full refund. Unhappy guests will not donate as much money to your zoo. So again, just maintaining zoo happiness is important. I'm imagining maybe refunds have been weakened a little bit. I know some people were having like 40% of their guests going for full refunds, like despite running like a fairly successful zoo. So hopefully that's been tweaked and balanced a little bit along with the rest of the changes. Very exciting this one. Our team have created a beautiful in-game Aurora Borealis, also known as the Northern Lights, which you can see while in the tundra biome. Keep your eye on the night sky to see them as they are truly a sight to behold. We're looking forward to seeing your gorgeous screenshots, blah 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 blah. This feature is only available in high to ultra graphic settings. That's a really nice little thing. They didn't have to add that. Nobody was at home thinking, I really want to play Planet Zoo, but they don't have an Aurora Borealis. It's little things like this that make me appreciate Frontier as a company and the devs working on this game. This wasn't necessary, but it's cool. That's important, it's cool. And admittedly it is tundra only, which makes a lot of sense, and you know, if you're going to see the Northern Lights, some of the best places to see is like Northern Scandinavia, or Greenland, Iceland, the Arctic, blah 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 blah. The Arctic, Antarctica, is Arctic at the top? I always get them confused. I think Arctic at the top anyway. Anyways, that's really cool. That's going to make me build I think we're going to build like a Christmas park over the holidays when this patch comes out. We'll definitely have to do that and check out the Aurora Borealis at night. Some people are going to get some amazing screenshots. Cannot wait to see those. Big here because it's so important. An ice cream costume is available to all players to dress up their avatars. I don't really have anything to add on that one. We're going to move on. More creativity, of course, for all the master builders among us. We're adding a complete ice and snow rock set, which is cool because the tundra rocks they're fine, but they're kind of yellowy and they don't look like they're covered in snow or ice or anything like that. So hopefully we get a really cool rock set. Well, probably something that looks like this, actually. Oh god, what's it? Give me a minute. Something that looks like this. This looks like it's made out of ice and it's covered in snow. That's going to be really cool. Enrichment items like a snowball and the Christmas present that we saw earlier, new winter foliage, and ice pathing. They're really going in hard on this. Like, we're going to be able to build proper, big, snowy themed Christmassy zoos. That's going to be very, very cool. It is interesting to me that all this is part of the free patch. You know, even if you don't buy what we suspect is going to be an animal DLC, you're still going to get a rock set. You're still going to get the enrichment items. You're still going to get the foliage. You're still going to get the new pathing. You're going to get all this stuff for free, just through virtue of existing. I think that's really cool. Really, really excited to get my hands on all this. The final one we have then finally got to the end. These features will arrive alongside a huge number of gameplay tweaks and bug fixes, which the team have been working hard on in the past few weeks. The full update notes will be posted on 17th of December when the update goes live. There might be another surprise in store for you as well, so do keep an eye out for any exciting announcements soon. And of course, this would be what they're referring to. I do think this will be a paid DLC. I have no guarantee of that. Maybe kind of like with Jurassic World Evolution, the first pack that Frontier did was free. It was coinciding with the film. We got a Fallen Kingdom pack that added like 5 or 6 dinosaurs, can't remember off the top of my head. This could well be free. I think it's safer to assume it'll be like a £5, $5 or whatever animal pack, and then you can be pleasantly surprised. I cannot speak today, I apologise. You'll be pleasantly surprised if it's free, and if it's, a £5 or something, then you won't be too annoyed. If it's like 20 quid, then we can get a little tetchy with it. Either way, loads of great stuff, even if you're not going to buy any prospective DLC, if that does indeed exist. Looks like we're going to get reindeer at the very least, but I do think we're going to get penguins, I do think we're going to get polar bears, I do think we're going to get Arctic foxes. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, folks. This is good stuff. I've been really anticipating and really interested to see where they're going to go with Planet Zoo DLC, how often we're going to get it, what's quality going to be like, what's going to be free and what's going to be paid. We can expect a lot of support for this game over the next year or two, in particular the next year I'd say, because as far as we know, Frontier do not have another game coming out in 2020, we'll have to wait and see. And I'm really excited about the future of the game. It does need more stuff like this, we need more creativity, we don't just need more animals. The game has a huge roster, but it is definitely missing some staples. I'd say polar bears and penguins were two of the big ones as well. Once this is done, I imagine the next focus maybe should be on something like Australia, somewhere that is lacking again, like kangaroos and stuff, all these classic animals that aren't quite in the game at this point in time. But anyways, I don't want to go on about that. Really exciting stuff. Let me know what aspect of this DLC you are, well, patch I should say. Let me know what aspect of this patch you are most excited for in the comments down below, and I'll see you lovely folks next time. Cheers myself as always, bye bye. Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video or you want to help support me a little bit more, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. There's a link in the description down below. Every little really does help in times like these, but it's not at all expected, and by just watching the video you've already helped me out massively, and it makes you a pretty cool person, so well done you. Thanks for joining me either way, I'll see you next time.